now return to a Bears fan reaction, already in progress.
It's about to be a party, y'all. It's about to be a party, y'all. What the macaroni and cheese? Man, what the hell type of... Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Thought we was playing? You thought we was playing?
What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday, you know what I mean? We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but right here, first comment or second comment, we're going to bring it up. Happy birthday, Vinny. So happy birthday to Vinny, the
thanks, Philly.
producer of the show. There you go.
I feel old today, but thank you. Thank you.
Here we go. Give him a round of applause. Shout out to Vinny over here. But we have a fantastic show. We can talk more about that, you know what I mean, throughout the show. But we have a great show. Bears, you know, we're going to be talking about that game. We're going to be looking ahead to the Broncos, the situation, all that stuff. But before we get into that, big shout out to the sponsors of the show, Quick Trip being the greatest gas station of all time. You know what I mean? Right now, they got a bunch of deals going on with their Urge chips and popcorn. 2 for $3.33. Check the Quick Rewards app. You're going to find out a bunch of deals that they got going on. You know what I mean? Ways you can win all types of cool stuff. And if you're there, they got clean bathrooms. So if you're traveling and you through Wisconsin, Midwest area, where there's Quick Trips, check out their bathrooms. And Nick Law, you know what I mean? Being the best lawyer in the Midwest. If you get injured and you're missing work, things ain't going good for you, need some help, check out NickLayLaw.com. Him and his whole team, they're going to hook you up, you know what I mean? So there you go. Quick Trip, Nick Law, best sponsors in the game. Here we go. Thomas says, them Bear fans so mad they smashing and throwing tables. You know what I mean? Yeah, shout out to Vinny for that intro over there. But yeah, dude, but Bears fans are mad. They're like in their feels a little bit over on Twitter. I'm kind of done talking about it, but we got to talk about it one more time. This is a Tuesday show. It's where we talk about the previous game, but it feels like we've talked about it a lot already. You know what I mean? Philly Boy said 2 minutes of blowing out the candles. I think, is that an old joke? Because he's old? I don't know.
I'm not allowed to have candles. It's too many. It's a fire hazard.
Yeah. He's not allowed to have candles since the incident. Where are you going for your birthday dinner?
I didn't want to go because we're having ice storms down here. So I made myself probably one of my favorite meals. I love chili. I made a pot of chili. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, chili.
I know it's kind of boring, but I love it. Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, ice. You know how old people and driving, you don't really want them out there on the ice, you know what I mean? If you forget the name of the law firm, just look up. There's a billboard nearby. I'm talking about Nick Lay. Eric said, hey, Matt, will they ever throw a flag for holding on Parsons? Dude, that is like a great question because I feel like Parsons gets held all the time. And I made that post about it, and people were like, well, it's because of this and that. The rule, technically, I think it's like a rip. Whenever they rip, then they're allowed to like choke them out or whatever. I don't know the rules, but it feels like Parsons never gets a hold. And the refs are right there. There's so much pictures you can see it in the games, the video. The refs seem to be looking right at them. You know what I mean? And they get no call. Matt LaFleur called it out. They've talked about it, and it just they're like, no, this is just how it is. We don't call holding on Micah Parsons, and he still gets through. That's why everyone's talking about Micah Parsons. Isn't that game wrecker? He helped other guys get sacks. He did it in the last game. But yeah, dude, let's get some holding calls for him. You know what I mean? Aaron said, hi, guys. Go Pack, go Pack, go. How you doing? We just got to score more points than Denver, and we should have this win easy. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I think I trust the Packers defense to get after it. So anyone who's like doubting the Packers defense, I see people on Twitter like kind of getting a little crazy with it. Because that second half, we'll talk about that. We're gonna talk, get a few more comments over here, and then we'll get into this controversy: chili with or without noodles. How do you have chili without noodles? Isn't it just slop at that point?
Oh, I'm without noodles. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. But I don't eat chili. I don't like it. Don't want no part of it. Anyways, we're gonna. Hey Matt, like to hear your thoughts on what makes if the Lions or the Bears to the playoffs. I think that's interesting, dude. If two teams go to the playoffs out of the North, I assume Packers, they're gonna be one of them. Even though the whole NFC is so crazy, one loss can knock you out, one loss can get you in. But like right now, the Bears are in control, but they do play the Packers again, so they're gonna have another L. You know what I mean? But if I had to guess, I would say it's going to be the Bears. The Lions are on the outside looking in right now. And do three teams make it? If the Lions, I don't know the Lions' schedule offhand, but if they can stack some wins, maybe they can knock out someone. You look right here at the seeding. You got the Rams in the first seed, the Packers in the second seed. Third seed, you got the Eagles. Fourth seed, you got the Bucks. Fifth seed, Seattle. Sixth is the Niners, and seventh seed is Chicago. So can Chicago get bumped out of it? Like, do they lose to the Browns? Right? And I'm not like even predicting that. I'm just saying I probably will predict that. The pick'em show is tomorrow, but they could lose. The Bucks, they're kind of tripping up. They're 7-6. So there's ways that the Lions could jump in there if they get some wins. But the NFC is crazy because like look at this right here. The Packers with the 2 seed, right? 9-3-1. I'm trying to make sure I say this all this right. And then Chicago 9-4 with the 7 seed. Like 9-4 with the 6 seed, 8-5 with the 3rd seed, 10-3 with the 5th seed, and 7-6 with the 4th seed. Number 1 seed 10-3. It's so closely bunched together. Like one slip up, and you're in the hunt. Then you know what I mean. So there you go. Frosty said, if you got noodles, it's a hot dish. I don't even know what's going on with the chili. You know what I mean. But anyway, so let's talk about this game a little bit. You got Caleb Williams. I'll go over some numbers, pretend like we're a professional podcast every now and again. I'm not going to go over all of them. But Caleb Williams was we got it over here too, 19-35, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. He started like 1 for 7, right? Not a good start. And then Bears fans are saying, well, the Bears should have won. We were in position. We should have won that game. Like, no, you should have lost by a lot more. The Packers kind of like the defense started getting tired and started getting gassed a little bit, and the Bears offense was able to come back, and they had a nice second half. You know what I mean? Props to Caleb Williams, kind of keeping plays alive. But absolutely, the Packers should have won. They should have won by more. But then you got Swift over here, 13 carries, 63 yards, and their backup had 14 carries for 57 yards on the ground. That's kind of what their plan was, to ground and pound. Didn't really turn out that way. The long for Andre Swift was 8. And for his buddy there is 9, you know what I mean? So that's, who cares about them though? Jordan Love, 17-25, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. That interception was wild. He just didn't see that dude. Quarterback rate 120.7, but the Bears are the number 1 team at getting those interceptions. So they got 1. And then Josh Jacobs, 20 carries, 86 yards, and it's Saturday, long of 21. Jaden Reed had 2 for 22 on those jet sweeps everyone loves. Christian Watson, 4 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a freak. Vinny was telling me before, kind of like after the game, they were talking about Jordan Love, MVP, this and that. He's like, give it to Christian Watson. But Christian Watson, since he's been back, dude, he's been a huge part of this offense. Bolt Melton had a touchdown, 1 for 45. Jaden Reed, 4 catches for 31 yards. And there you go. We don't need to go through everything. Musgrave had 2 for 222. But yeah, this offense is getting after it. With Christian Watson on the offense, dude, this offense is so much better. Like, it opens up stuff for other people. Bolt Melton, dude. You know what I mean? Bo Melton had a touchdown, 45-yarder. For people who are watching, because this is also on the audio podcast, but for people who are watching on the video, we're showing some highlights right here. There's one to Musgrave. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go all the way through this, but you can look at it. But just when this offense is on, it's so tough to stop. And I love those little quick slants that they do. You know what I mean? Kind of reminiscent of the back in the day of those. NFC, those wild, the West Coast teams. There you go, the West Coast offenses. I'm a big fan of those. But here we go. We got some people chiming in over here. I want to make sure I get to some comments. Aaron said, "Happy birthday, Vinny."
Thanks,
you know
Aaron.
what I mean? When's the last time a team goes from being number 1 seed in week 14 to not even making the playoffs through 2025? The Bears. That'd be fantastic. It very well could happen. You know what I mean? Go Pack. Yo, Raymond, how you doing? I think it's Ramon, right? I think I'm saying that right. But yeah, Christian Watson's in the right spot. Absolutely beautiful. Williams did his job. Don't allow Parsons to catch him. Yeah, he did. Dude, Caleb Williams, I talk a lot of trash about the Bears, but I don't talk trash about the players. But Caleb Williams, his escapability is like so good. If he can figure out the not going 1 for 7 to start a game, like they might be in a decent spot. Because, dude, if you start a game 1 for 7, dude, your quarterback, that's not looking. It's gonna be tough to win that game. I'm just telling you. You can't start, and Packer fans know that. Like, starting late, trying to bring it back in the second half, wasn't meant to be. And then just a great busted play to win that game over here. We got a lot of birthday wishes over here for the Vinster. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Luke.
But look at Christian Watson right here. For people watching,
Thomas.
You can't catch that man. Oh crap! I think I'm being called into work. But here we go. Is Shadrow 9-5 in the building? I think I might have missed some comments over here. But yeah, this it was a good win. What were your thoughts on this win, Vinny? What are your thoughts on the offense and what they got going on over here?
Actually, my biggest thought on the entire game is I was really impressed with Jordan Love when he threw that first interception. Right, the old Jordan Love would have been shaken a little bit, because when he was kind of new into it being the starter, remember he would kind of throw some bad throws and he just didn't look right after an interception. But you can see the maturity in him now on the third year. He shook it off and it was like nothing. And he came out and bam, started throwing the touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and looked like a definite veteran starter, like a good thing. In fact, to kind of give you an idea, here, let me just ask you, who do you think was the best quarterback in Green Bay Packer history, in your opinion?
I mean, at the tough one, if we're not talking, I believe Bart Starr out of it, but I would say Aaron Rodgers. But
okay.
Yeah.
Now, statistically, Aaron Rodgers, I agree with you with Bart Starr, because Bart Starr was green and gold, hands down.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show you this. For the first 45 games as a Packer starter, compared with Aaron Rodgers, look at Jordan Love. And why doesn't Jordan Love get the respect he deserves? Look at this.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, people have been showing these numbers like throughout his time starting, and they're very, very similar. So I don't really get like the hate. Yeah, because Aaron Rodgers didn't win a Super Bowl until this year of his career. This is the year that third year being a starter is when Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. So if Jordan Love does the same thing, he's basically doing the same exact thing that Rodgers did. I mean, it was a little bit different here and there. But Jordan Love deserves the praise. I think it's funny how people flip-flop on him. Even guys like Cowherd, they're all over him, and then they're like trashing him, and then they love him again. But a lot of people, it doesn't matter what he does, he's not going to get the love. And I see people like on the radio, these clips, they're like, he hasn't sold me yet. All right, who cares, dude? Who cares what you think? Because opinions don't mean nothing. Facts is what it is. 27-17-1 record Jordan Love has. 899 of 1390, 64.7% completion percent, 10,576 yards, 79 touchdowns, 26 interceptions, 98.8 quarterback rating, and Aaron Rodgers, 98.5 quarterback rating, 30 interceptions. He had more interceptions. He had a couple more touchdowns, and 11,761 yards. So very, very, very similar. And ain't nobody saying like Jordan Love is going to be Aaron Rodgers. He's going to have the same career and he's going to do all these things. But to start off, there's no reason to think that this is a good quarterback. People talk about Jordan Love isn't a franchise quarterback, which the whole franchise quarterback thing is so stupid to me. If you're the face of the franchise, you're a franchise quarterback. I don't care what your feelings about it. I think that wording of it is just so stupid. But yeah, shout out to actually this is Green Bay Packers Daily. Graphic that you jacked.
Correct. And I was just going to say that was, brought to you by them. Yep. Correct.
Yeah. Green Bay Packers Daily. Shout out to Rob Weston. Weston. He's a good buddy of mine. But Green Bay Packers Daily on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the places. Does fantastic job. Puts out good content. So be sure to check him out. You know what I mean? Here we go. Luke. When Packers offense get going so fast, they're going. Will do the Packers defense get going fast? They're hot the rest of the game. The thing with the defense and like yesterday or Sunday, when people were talking about the second half, with them giving up, some stuff is because if the offense isn't putting them in good positions, or even like when they start having long drives, like the Bears had a few long drives, then that kind of gets your defense gas, and that's when their offense can kind of get after it. You know what I mean? Mashadro 9 says, people hate on Keyshawn Nixon, but so far he's voted number 6 cornerback in the entire NFL. I saw Andy Herman talking about this too, and he was like, he's one of the top rated dudes. Obviously that interception at the end was a huge part of that. But yeah, Keyshawn Nixon, I mean, the thing is like he just mentioned, like Vinny just mentioned about Jordan Love throwing an interception and then not like freaking out about it, and then keep it going and have a good game and not let it get in your head and throw more. The same thing with Keyshawn Nixon. Yeah, made some mistakes, had some penalties. But they, don't get rattled. Stay in the game. Your play is coming. And he waited. He made a big play. That play, he wasn't even on that dude. He was on DJ Moore, I believe. And then he saw him wide open in the end zone. So he ran over there. The ball gets tossed in the air. He catches the interception. If he just stays on his guy and is not like knowing everything that's going on, that's a touchdown. Who knows what goes on after that? I still think the Packers win, but that was a big, huge heads-up play. So, shout out to Keyshawn Nixon, you know what I mean? But, yeah, he was getting some hate during that game, you know what I mean?
100% too, man. And the other thing, too, is there's a lot of maturity on our team. For a young team, there's a lot of maturity. And the key thing that I'm seeing also is this is the time of the year when teams need to play their best ball. And I think the Packers are really going in that direction right now. They're playing some really good football right now.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that. I made a graphic or post or whatever about Matt LaFleur in December. I forget. He has a really good record in December. And people are like, yeah, what about January? Well, if you don't have a good record in December, you're not going to get to January. I mean, I get it that people are like, oh, he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. Yeah, he hasn't. Maybe this is the year he does. You know what I mean? But, like, you have to be good in December and to get hot at this moment. And, like, look at those Giants teams that won Super Bowls. They weren't like – even the Packers in Super Bowl 45, they weren't like, everyone wasn't saying the whole season, like, this is the best team, It's like, get hot at the right time. And then go on a little run, you know what I mean? Kevin says, Kelly Williams is an MVP candidate to Chicago, but Jordan Love is a legitimate MVP candidate, you know what I mean? And, I mean, MVP candidate stuff is like wild because it doesn't really matter. I don't know if it's a writers or what it is, but, you know what I mean? I don't really worry about it. But especially during the season, like after the season, it would be cool. I don't think Jordan Love's gonna win MVP. I don't know. I don't think no matter what he did, even if he threw like 70 touchdowns, they'd be like, no, I'm just not sold on him yet. You know what I mean? Here we go. I like Nixon fire and drive, says Philly boy. What's up, Marissa? Go Pat, go. All right, Luke. He says, thanks. Going be Packers and Rams NFC Championship game. Maybe Packers and Buffalo. In Super Bowl, that would be fantastic. Packers, if it ever happens where the Packers and Buffalo are in the Super Bowl, that's going to be the most maddening party of all time. It's going to be such good vibes, and it's going to be. I would be tempted to try to like sell my house to afford a ticket. You know what I mean? That would be awesome. Philly Boy said Parsons is even settling in, not jumping off sides like earlier. And I think that defense is only going to get better. I think the offense is only going to get better. I think if we had Tucker Kraft, it'd be a whole different mission. But I think Matthew Golden, I think at some point they're going to be like, hey, we should use this guy. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be good. When did you go live? Should I check out and watch podcast later? Don't want to watch to the end. We started about 20 minutes ago. You know what I mean? But you can always download the audio podcast too, you know what I mean? And Zane says Jordan will never get the credit he deserves only because Rodgers was the quarterback before him. Yeah, and I just think that, and all the talk leading up to it. Here's the thing, like with sports people who talk about sports, is they hate to be wrong. So like going into it, they're like, Jordan loves the bust, Jordan loves the bum. So now they just like don't want to admit that they were wrong. At least Colin Cowherd admits he's wrong. He doesn't care because he just says every other day he's saying different stuff. He's like, yeah, I was wrong about that. Keep her moving. But like, I think a lot of people don't want to admit it because Jordan Love has shown it. Like, is he perfect? No. But I think he's getting better, and this is the year, baby. This is the year, you know what I mean? Wendy said, what up, Matt Ramage? The Bears still suck. They absolutely do, you know what I mean? There we go. So there we go. I wanna move on a little bit. Let's talk about the Broncos. Let's talk about the Broncos. What do we know about the Broncos? You know what I mean? Let's learn a little bit for people who don't know about the Broncos. All right, Philly Boy says, Start Willis people crack me up. Yeah, man, where are the Start Willis people at? Anyways, we're going to get into this. The Broncos, all right. Bo Nix, this is the team everyone's talking about, right? They are, the best team in the league. A lot of people are talking about. Let's see what their passing yards comparable. All right, so 2,954 passing yards for Bo Nix. Jordan Love has 3,000 to compare that. Here we go. The rushing yards, 817 for Josh Jacobs, 772 for Dabbins over there. And the receiving yards, all right, so Sutton, he's got more. The Packers kind of spread that thing out. Romeo Dobbs, he's got 542. But Parsons, 12 and a half sacks to their guy. What's that? Benito. He's got 12 and a half sacks. So I think the defense is what they are, right, Vinny? The Broncos are a defensive team. So their offense.
Defensive team, correct, yes.
Yeah, their offense, I don't think it's bad. But I don't think it's great because that's what I've seen everyone kind of saying is if we're able to get something going against their defense, we should be in a good spot because our defense should be able to shut them down offensively. Correct. I think so. Like you're looking at that right there, and I looked at it a little bit earlier. But yeah. So what do you think is going to happen right here, Vinny? What do you think?
I think we're going to go in there and shut them down and put the NFL on notice. This will be 2 weeks in a row we shut down a number 1 seed.
Yeah, let's go do it. Marissa says, I know nothing about Denver. Samesies. That's why I chose to have a podcast. Yeah, so I think what it is the Packers defense is just going to clamp down their offense. It's going to be a tough battle. I'm not going to go on here and be like, they're the number 1 seed for a reason. They're balling.
Yeah, true.
But let's check who they played. Who have they played lately? And we can kind of go through that. I'm not saying that they haven't played no one, but I'm just kind of curious. So they played, they beat the Raiders 24-17, then they beat Washington in overtime 27-26. They beat Kansas City 22-19, Vegas again 10-7, and then Houston 18-15.
See, that was Houston before they started turning things around also. So they haven't really been playing anybody, and KC's tanking this year.
Yeah, because Houston, that was November 2nd. They really, I don't like to say that because I'm going to be like, they haven't played anyone, but they're really on that list. They beat the Raiders twice. They beat Washington barely, and Washington's a mess this year. Kansas City, they're going to miss the playoffs. And then Houston, like you say, that was November when they were kind of slouching. That was 18-15. I think that they're beatable. I don't think that they're the big bad wolf like some people are saying. But you look at the Packers. Who have they beat? They lost to the Eagles, beat the Giants, beat Minnesota, obviously, beat Detroit, beat Chicago. So they've been going on a little tear over here through the NFC North. Let's keep that going. But yeah, if the Packers can beat the Broncos, then go on and sweep the Bears, the Packers put themselves in a really good situation. They're in a situation right now if they just win, everything is in their control. They have it right here. You know what I mean? NFC North, they are 9-3-1, Chicago 9-4, Detroit 8-5, Minnesota 5-8. Yeah, this division is a beaut. Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay all seem to have their future like kind of, planned out, kind of know what they're doing. Minnesota, though, I don't know. I got bad news for their fans. I don't know. I'm not sure they know what's going on. But then AFC West over here, Denver 11-2, the Chargers 9-4, Chiefs 6-7, Vegas 2-11. So that division isn't so tough. You got that's a 2-team race over there. You know what I mean? Karen says, "Hey Matt and Vinny, sorry I'm late. Go Pack, go. How you doing, Karen?" Aaron, Chiefs I had in the Super Bowl versus Green Bay. Wow, was I wrong? Yeah, they are a mess. You know what I mean? So let me see. Let's see some really early score predictions, people. Packers, Broncos. Let's see some score predictions. You know what? This isn't your final. This is like your first. How do you think that this game's going to play out? I want to see some of these chats over here. 2-win Raiders escape to the victory. Packers can win, scoring just 14. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there, Philly boy. And the Packers are favored by 2.5 in Denver. And Denver is kind of a rough place to play. They talk about the altitude. I don't even know about that. But yeah, so Thomas says he thinks it's going to be 30-27. What do I think? I might just have the same prediction every week, 27-13. Because I can never predict for too high of a scoring because I didn't have so much faith in this Packers defense. Zane says 24-20. Thomas says, I predict Packers versus Bills Super Bowl as we beat Rams in the championship game. Dude, you're writing musical, beautiful music right there to my ears. You know what I mean? Aaron says he thinks it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think 27-13 sounds pretty good to me. James says 31-19. He went the other way. You know what I mean? Rick should have lost to Washington. They missed 2-point conversion. Running back was wide open. Mariota missed him bad. I do think I kind of remember that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not dogging Denver by any means because you are your record. I've always said you are your record. Bad win or ugly wins don't matter. Win. If you're winning, you're winning. Same thing like with the Bears. I said, Bears fans like they don't hear that part. They love me. Denver is exactly like Philly this year. Great defensive line, terrible offense. Yeah, so so our defense, maybe our defense gets some turnovers. You know what I mean? Maybe our defense gets after it. And we got Stacy over here. Happy birthday, Vinny. You know what I mean? It's a Vinny show today.
Oh, thanks, Stace.
All right, here we go. And Karen says 28 to 7. Oh, look at Aaron. I like this 6-7. He's saying it's going to be a defense punch you in the face type game. You know what I mean? Hopefully the Packers offense, they got to, playing against a great defense is a good time to show everyone that this offense is for real. Victoria says 14-10 game score, Pack win. You know what I mean? Philly boys said, that's just the Green Bay Grinch. Shout out to the Green Bay Grinch, you know what I mean? Stacy thinks 28-17. And then Kevin got 24-17. While Jesse says 35-13 Denver. Packers. I'm trying to get Jesse beat up in here, you know what I mean?
See, I was going to say 35-17 is what I'm going to say because Denver's actually going to be kind of warm for this time of the year. So now the Chicago Browns, the Bears-Browns game, they're saying it's going to be a high of like 4 degrees with negative wind chill. So that is going to be, that's going to be a game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a wild one. And dude, I think that, are the Browns are they decent? Like they got Sanders playing quarterback. I see they put up some points last week. I didn't get too involved in the game, but
I think he's going to tear up the Bears. I really do.
I mean, maybe he does. I'm not sold on him or whatever. Not that matters. But just the Browns in general. Obviously, the Browns beat the Packers. We're all aware. I'm reminded of that every single day. But yeah, we'll see. That would be a great win for them. Knock off the Bears. Do us a favor. If the Browns knock off the Bears, I will give props to Sanders and I'll join the fan club. You know what I mean? Packers can win by 27-14 because way Packers defense is, and Packers need to put up points. They have to put up points, but it's going to be a tough one. They have a very, very good defense. I assume the number one defense. The way people talk about them, I don't know the ranking and whatnot, but I assume that they're number one defense or near it. Vinny, that weather could improve Williams' game. Maybe Caleb plays better when he's freezing. Ben Jay gonna run the Browns off the field. We'll see. I don't know. I think the Bears should win that game. They're probably going to be favored to win that game. But will they? You know what I mean? Maybe the Packers destroyed them. Maybe they hurt the Bears as much as they hurt the Bears fans. You know what I mean? What do you got, Vinny?
No, I was going to say you're right. The Bears should win that game. But if they don't, it's like, yeah. Yeah, I think we took the wind out of their sails this last weekend. I really do.
Oh, yeah. We'll find out. I don't know about that. I'm not sure if I expect the Bears to keep it moving. They played down to the end, even though, Bears fans keep saying that they played down to the end, but really they were out of it for a minute. Kelly Winston was 1 for 7 at the end. He threw it up in the end zone, got it picked off, and lost the game. So they did move the ball, but you got to move the ball for the whole game. Like I say, they should win against the Browns, but we're gonna see. You know
the big reason I think the Browns are going to beat them is I think they're looking past the Browns game to play the Packers a second time. They're looking at that second Packer game. Yeah, that's what they're concentrating on. I'll bet.
Dude, this is funny right here. It is that y'all were scared. Dude, no Packer fan was ever been scared of the Bears. And that's the funny thing about Packer fans and Bear fans on Twitter is they were just going back and forth talking about you're scared. Like, dude, no one's scared. Why would Bears fans be scared? They were confident. They're the number one seed. You know what I mean? There's no reason for them not to be confident. And Packers fans surely weren't scared of the Bears. You know what I mean? At Lambeau Field, I had there was no thought in my mind that the Packers would lose that game. There was no thought. At the end of that game, I started to think, like, all right, we're going to go to overtime. Like, this is getting this situation when they're going on the field. But then that interception, you know what I mean? But, like, nobody was scared. And the whole thing about you're scared, like, why do you need the other fan base to be scared? Like, to me, that means that you're a little bit scared. You're worried, so you're, like, portraying it off to them or something. I'm not trying to be a shrink over here. But, you know what I mean? It's just such a weird, who cares? I don't care if they're scared. That's the thing about Packers and Bears. We don't care about what your thoughts are, like Bears fans. Like, if they're scared or not scared, I don't care if they're scared. But I know they should be, because the Packers are going to go in there in a couple weeks down to Soldier Field and stomp them out again. No, I appreciate it.
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck.
I enjoy the rivalry, you know what I mean? But we're having a good time over here. But the Bears do suck, baby. Really suck. Yes, the Bears still suck. Here we go. Andy said, I'm all about these battles because come playoff time, this team will be fire hardened and ready to rock. That is the thing about even like the Bears. They were how they win like those kind of those close games. That does help you come playoff time. And the Packers, how they're kind of battling through too. I mean, they were in control of that game pretty much, but the Bears were coming back on it. But it's good to be in games like that, high pressure games, because that was kind of like the playoff atmosphere. Both those teams wanted that. And both those teams are playoff teams. You know what I mean? So I think it was good for both of them to get that. It's better for the Packers, you know what I mean? Andy said, I think the Broncos are very beatable, and that 10-game win streak is going to have to end eventually. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think the Broncos are very beatable, and I think they're going to be beaten. You know what I mean? So we kind of already looked at the playoff scenario. Do we know anything about injuries, Vinny? What do we know about injuries?
Well, the three key players possibly coming back on the 14th is Savon Williams, a wide receiver, Lucas Van Ness, if his foot is okay, and Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, so Wicks, I took the over on him. But, Van Ness, I think, is huge. They need to get him back on the field. He's been missing some weeks. So, hopefully Van Ness, I'm not hopeful for him too soon. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but it just doesn't seem like he's going to be, you know what I mean? He should be back, but...
Yeah, no, the Broncos have one of their tight ends, Nate Adkins, which is still questionable with his knee. So, and it looks like they lost J.K. Dobbins for the rest of the year. That's their running back.
All right.
So they're kind of beat up a little bit too, but it looks like their defense, DJ Jones, Drew Sanders, and Kareem Reed, a couple linebackers and a defensive tackle, are questionable or out. Yeah.
There you go. So, we will see it, but I want to get to this comment right here. That's why I laughed at. He said, yeah, Parsons' gas on sideline was in control. When were the Packers ever in jeopardy of losing that game? Like, when was it when they were, like, down, they were climbing up? Who was coming back at the end? Who was trying to make that comeback? Packers were in control, and Parsons goes out a lot. They don't, he's not 100% of the snaps. So, like, you know what I mean? If you watch the games, baby, you know, I mean, it's just a coping, you know. I get it. Bears fans got to cope a little bit. You know, can you imagine beating a team in your division one time since 2018? And when's the last time they beat them without their quarterback missing time? Because, you know, Jordan Love didn't play and that lost. So during that second half, he was out. So, you know what I mean? Bears suck is all I'm trying to say now, but shout out to you. We're having fun. I love the rivalry. I just love it talking trash. What's the over-under on how long it takes Caleb to come out? All right, we don't want to talk about that. But here we go. The Pick'em show is tomorrow night. We're going to be picking all games for the NFL. All right, so come hang out. 7:30 p.m. Central Time, and we always have fun with the Pick'em show. And if you're on the Pick'em League, be sure you get your picks in by Thursday. I think I'm making a comeback. I broke the top 100. Now I'm coming back, and I think Vinny, he was in 1, and then he was in 2. I think he might have slid to 3. We're gonna see where he is.
Well, it's still it's still
you don't want to talk about it.
it's still second place, but they say third, even though it's second place. It's really weird how they do it, but I can show it here. Give me 1 second here.
We can show it tomorrow. We got to keep them on their edge.
Yeah, we could show it tomorrow. We'll keep them on the edge. We'll keep them in suspense.
That's how you sell it. Show up. Tomorrow, the Pick'em Show, 7:30 p.m. Central Time live, or you can listen on the audio podcast. If you tune in late today, you can subscribe to the Matt Ramage Show everywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, all those places. I'd appreciate it. First of all, before you go out here, I want to see Philly's reaction here. He said gas, Parsons 78 pressures, most by Packers, and stats started in 2016. Yeah, you know what I mean?
And thank you to everyone for the birthday wishes. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
There you go. Yep. 1 year older, now a senior citizen. Now you can park in all the good spots, you know what I mean?
AARP, baby.
Yeah. You can get all the good parking spots. You got it made over there, you know what I mean? All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. Come back tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. I appreciate you. Go Pack, go. And the Bears still suck, you know what I mean?